Hello everybody, it's your boy Professor Patio, and in this video we are going to talk about distances and locations. Let's take a look at what this show is all about. We're going to go in this order. We're going to talk about the asynchronous work due Friday. We will review number lines, and then we'll take you through the 5 problems that were talked about in Zoom class for math this week. And on the top right of this video, you can see what we're talking about. So if you need to move around the video, you can do that as well. So, now we're going to talk about asynchronous work due Friday. So for both Team Articuno and Team Bulbasaur, to find the work that is due this Friday, you would pretty much go into the September 28 to October 3 section, and it's right over here. 6.1 Lesson 5, Solving Problems with Diagrams. This is the assignment that's due Friday. We did change the date for Team Articuno. It is due Friday, 11:59. Same thing for Team Bulbasaur. Due 1 to 5, due Friday. 1 to 5, due Friday. Alright, and it also says here, please finish 1 to 5. Alright, that is the assignment. There's many ways to draw a number line. So, for example, if I drew a number line like this, going from top to bottom, this is a vertical number line. Whoops. Right there. Alright, this is a vertical number line. A vertical number line goes from top to bottom. There's also a horizontal number line. Not my best drawing, sorry. A horizontal number line goes from left to right, okay? Now, the other thing to think about is how we actually label number lines, okay? So, on a vertical number line, a lot of people do start with 0 in the middle, but the cool thing is you don't have to. And then over here, negatives are underneath 0. And positive numbers are above 0. Alright, and then for a horizontal number line, a lot of people do put 0 in the middle. You don't have to. And then positives are over here. Negatives are over here. Alright, so that's horizontal number lines. Vertical number lines. Now, another thing to remember about number lines is what numbers you put on them. What numbers you put on them. Now, if you want, you can count by ones. You can count by fives. You can count by tens. You can count by however much you want to. Okay? This should be memorized so that you can remember that. Okay? But you don't always have to count by ones, twos, threes, tens, whatever. Okay? You don't have to count by that. All right? And you'll see this in what we're about to do. Okay? So, for example, if we go to number 1 from Desmos, let me take out this screen. Let's take a look at number 1 from Desmos. Alright, let's do some problems together. So some of the wording might be different from Articuno or Bulbasaur depending on your class, but the problem for page 1 is very similar. A frog jumps from 0 to -4 on the number line. Another frog jumps from 0 to 3. And by the way, this is page 1. Okay, and this is the same assignment that's over here. Okay, so we're just going through this assignment. Alright, let's do this together. A frog jumps from 0 to 4 to -4 on a number line. Another frog jumps from 0 to 3. Okay, so I can draw any number line I want. I could go vertical or horizontal. I'm just going to happen to go horizontal, just because I want to. Alright, a frog jumps from 0 to -4. So 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. If I want to, I could label these. I don't have to. If I just want to, if I feel lazy, or if I just want to go faster, I don't have to put these. I could just go here. Okay? So a frog jumps from 0 to -4 on the number line. Another frog jumps from 0 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that. Here's another frog, and it jumps over here. Okay. Here's my number line. Here's one frog. Here's the other frog. Who went ahead? Who landed on a greater number? Well, I would say second frog landed on a greater number. Because 3 is greater than -4. See the alligator? The alligator's eating 3. The alligator always eats the bigger number. Who jumped farther? The first frog jumped farther because the frog jumped 4 steps. But the other frog only jumped 3 steps. The answers are different, so this is number, label. This is number 3, this is number 2, this is number 1. The answers are different because one question is talking about location or position, but the other question is talking about distance jumped. Okay, so these are 3 ways to answer it. Use inequalities to represent the answers to 1 and 2. Okay, so who's ahead? Well, who landed on a greater number? Well, take a look at the 2 numbers, -4 and 3. -4 and 3. These are the 2 numbers they're talking about. So 3 is greater than -4. Okay, inequalities have these signs. Inequalities have less than or greater than signs. Okay, so when they say this, they're talking about these signs. Alright, so who jumped farther? We want to say that, so we can say this, or we can say this. Okay, now you can use this if you remember what absolute value is. Remember, absolute value is the distance between a number and 0. It means how far is this -4 from 0. Okay, so you could use this or this. Alright, so that's number 1. Let's take a look at number 2. One morning the temperature is -28 degrees Fahrenheit in Anchorage, Alaska, and 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Miami, Florida. How many degrees warmer was it in Miami than in Anchorage on that morning? Represent the problem by sketching a number line and use it to help you find your answer. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that number line right now. And because I'm reminded of a thermometer, I'm going to draw a thermometer like this. Now, I could have done it horizontal too, okay, but I'm just going to go vertical. I want to put 0 right here in the middle. Now I have -28. I know the negatives are on this side. And I know that's for Anchorage, Alaska. And 65 degrees in Miami, Florida. Now, notice that I'm not counting to -28. I'm not counting by 2s, I'm not counting by 10s, I'm not counting by anything. I just decided, hey, let me just put it here. Okay? And then same thing over here. I'm just going to say 65 is over here. I didn't measure it. I didn't count by anything. I didn't count by 5s or anything. Okay. Here's Miami. How many degrees warmer was it in Miami than in Anchorage? So basically what they're asking for when I read this question is they're asking for, they want to know what's the distance between here to here. How far is it from here to here? Well, what I'm going to do is break this up into 2 parts. If I want to figure out how far it is from here to here, then maybe I can figure out this part, and then I can figure out this part. So for example, to get from 65 to 0, you need to go 65. Oops. Wow, my pen's not working. Basically, if I'm on 65th Street, how far will it take me to get to 0th Street? 65. If I'm trying to go from 65 to 0, how far is it going to take me? How far will it take? Well, 65 is 65 away from 0. Okay? Now let's take a look at the blue part. How far is it from 0 to negative 28? The answer is 28. Okay? Distance between 2 points is always positive. Distance is never negative. So now to figure out the answer, 65 plus 28, 93. Okay? So how many degrees warmer was it in Miami? It was 93 degrees warmer in Miami. Okay, so that's one way to do that. How did it write an equation? So equation means you need an equal sign. So I can write 65 plus 28 equals 93. Or I could have said the absolute value of 65 plus the absolute value of negative 28 equals 93. Okay? This is a little bit more advanced understanding, but if you remember how absolute value works, this is one way to do it. Or this is one way to do it. Okay, so just pick one of these. Or there's another way to do it. You could have said this plus this equals that. Okay, there's 3 ways to do it. Okay, just pick one way. Alright, that's number 2. Now let's look at number 3. Number 3 is, we'll skip number 3, we don't need to worry about number 3. Now here's number 4. Lynn and Max are divers. Lynn's depth gauge says she is 43.6 feet deep. Max's depth gauge says that he is 54.2 feet deep. This is 43 and 6/10. This is 54 and 2/10. Alright, so since we're talking about diving, I'm kind of reminded of water and how 0 is sea level. 0 is the same thing as sea level, and I'm reminded of water right here. So that like this, all of this is water. Okay. Now, when someone tells you that Lynn is 43 and 6/10 deep, well, it means this person's in the negative. Being deep in the water means you're underwater, and anything underwater is negative. Alright, so this is where Lynn is. I apologize for the other dot here. Right? Max is 54 and 2/10 deep. So Max would be, where would we put Max? Well, we're going to put Max lower. And I'm just going to estimate it somewhere around here. This is where Max would be. Who's deeper? Max is deeper. Who's closer to the surface? Lynn is closer to the surface. Who's higher? Lynn is higher. And you could explain it if you want. As much as I love talking about inequalities, you are free to skip this part. Okay? You are free to skip this part. This is more important to our understanding. I really want you to understand this part. This part is less important to me, so if you skip this part, I think that's okay. I think it's also okay to type this. Alright? I really want you to understand this part. Now let's take a look at number 5. Lebanon, Kansas is considered to be the center of the contiguous 48 states. Lebanon, Kansas is considered to be the center of the 48 contiguous states. That means Lebanon, Kansas is in the middle of these 48 states. Here are some cities east and west of Lebanon, Kansas. Here are some cities east and west of Lebanon, Kansas. And these are the cities that are talked about. Draw a diagram that places Lebanon, Kansas at 0. Let me do that right now. And if this is not enough space for you, you can use abbreviations. The other important thing to note is when we're talking about west, west is on the left side. So west is over here. And that means east would be over here. Now, since San Francisco is in the west, are we talking about negatives or positives? We're talking about negatives, so I'm just going to estimate San Francisco to be here. And since we're talking about negative 1,577, we're going to write negative 1,577. New York is 1,415 miles east. Is this positive or negative? East. Is that positive or negative? Well, we are talking about positive because we're talking about over here. So, I'm just going to put New York, 1,415. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. Indianapolis, Indiana, 706 miles east. So 0, 1,415. Where would 706 go? Would it go here? Would it go here? Okay. So make your best estimate. I think 700 is around halfway in between 0 and 1,400 or 1,400. So New York would, Indianapolis would be somewhere around here. And then 844 miles west. Again, we're talking about west, so are we talking about negative or positive? Salt Lake City. So, seems like negative to me. And then negative 844. Alright, now, use your diagram. I'm going to do one of these for you, but after that, I'm going to ask you to just try this out yourself. Now use your diagram, use your number line, to help you find the distances between the following places. So, how do we figure out the distance between San Francisco and New York? Use red. How do we figure out the distance between San Francisco and New York? How do we figure this out? And this problem reminds me of earlier problems that we did. In fact, it's reminding me of problem number 2. And you see that 0 over there? I feel like that 0 is actually very helpful. And that's why I recommend having 0 sometimes when you're dealing with negatives and positive numbers. So we want to figure this out, this red part, but I bet you if you can figure out this green part, and if you can figure out this blue part, you can put the green and the blue together to get the red. Okay? Let's do it together. How far is this from here? How far is it from here to here? I hope you're thinking 1,577. From here to here is 1,577 steps. Or in this case, let's be more accurate in our language, we're talking about miles. Alright, we figured out the green, now let's figure out the blue. How far is it from 0 to 1,415? I hope you're thinking 1,415. Alright, now, let me write that in an equation. 1,577 plus 1,415 equals alright, so there's some math required here. You can do this on pencil. Oops. So this is an equation. An equation always has an equal sign. Okay, so that is the equation. And we figured out that the distance, the total distance, is 2,992. Okay. As you do the rest of these problems, you'll need to think about whether you're adding or subtracting. Okay. So sometimes you'll be adding, sometimes you'll be subtracting. I wish you the best on these. And hopefully in the future I can release a video telling you the answers for this. But really, your goal is to try it and experience it and just try your best, okay? So make sure you finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's all you have to do before Friday, okay? And late work is okay too. Alright, good luck on this. Thank you for watching.